Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, from the movie Godzilla King of the Monsters, we're going to take a look at the Exquisite Basics King Ghidorah figure by Hiya Toys. This is a big, beautifully made, imposing figure that has quickly become one of my favorites in the collection. I previously owned the SH Monster Arts version, which I liked a lot at the time of release. But, as many collectors know, that figure had more than a few issues, including lack of paint, joints popping out, the scale was incorrect, it wasn't accurate to the movie, and the wings were two big solid plastic pieces that were a breaking hazard. With their own figure, Hiya Toys has managed to fix most of those issues and present us with the definitive King Ghidorah figure from this movie. Before taking a closer look at the figure, let's check the box it came in. King Ghidorah comes in a big box, following the same design style Hiya is using for this movie. We get a big, nice picture of the figure on the front, along with the character's name at the top, the movie logo at the bottom right, two more pictures of the figure, and the Monsterverse logo. On the right side, we have the movie logo, and the same thing on the left side. At the top, we have a promo picture of Ghidorah from the movie, and the same thing at the bottom of the box. On the back, we have the movie logo again, three more pictures of the figure, and some company information. Hiya included an instruction sheet that shows how to assemble the display stands and how to assemble the tails, which you need to heat up with a hairdryer or hot water. It also shows how to put the wings together and their points of articulation. However, the instruction sheet doesn't show how to pose the wings for the crawling position. The only accessories you get are three display stands with two clamps to hold the wings and one for crotch support. The stands are articulated and with much better quality than the ones that came with Mothra and Rodan. I wish Hiya offered these stands on their own to replace the old ones. You can tighten or loosen up the display stand arms with a screwdriver as needed. Now let's go to the figure. King Ghidorah is a fantastic looking figure. Hiya Toys really paid attention to how he looks in the movie. The proportions look on point, and this is more noticeable in the heads, which were way too big on the SH Monster Arts version. The heads look screen accurate and evil looking as they should, and there are variations in the sculpt on each of them. You can even see Knee's broken horn here. The paint on the heads looks really good and enhances the expression on the faces. The only issue I see is each's eyes look a little funky from the front. I might just try to fix it later on. The excellent sculpt work continues along the neck, the chest, and the legs. You get nice coloring as well, with browns, yellows, and dark washes that make the skin detail really pop. Also the claws and the teeth are nicely painted. Going to the back, the skin detail continues, also showing those nice spikes running along the back of the figure. And the back on this Ghidorah figure is actually painted. Both tails have detailed skin patterns, and the spikes on the tips are nicely sculpted. Along with the three heads, the wings are the most distinguishing feature of this version of King Ghidorah, and they look big on this figure, and that makes it stand out even more. The veins in the skin are nicely detailed here as well, and the paint complements the sculpt beautifully. Now it's time to go over the articulation. All three heads and necks share the same articulation options. Articulation on the jaw allows to open the mouth. It might be able to open even more, but I'm trying not to force it. The tongue is articulated as well. The head is on a nice ball joint, which allows to move it up and down, side to side, and rotate. Each piece of the neck is on a ball joint, but here is one of the few drawbacks of this figure. The range on each of these ball joints is very limited, so you can only move up and from side to side up to a point, and they can barely move down. And this is because the neck is proposed with a curvature sculpted in. This means you can't pose this figure with the necks towards the floor or wrapping around things, and that is a shame. There's a nice up crunch, and you are able to rotate and move to the sides, and there's also decent front and back movement. Articulation on the thighs feels limited, and you can't go inwards and outwards that much, but you get nice rotation kicking back and front. Knees are on a single joint, and you have limited range front and back, but you also get a swivel there. The feet can rotate and pivot a little bit. There's not a lot of range along the legs, but you can pose them by working through each joint together. The tails have ball joints all the way through, and again, the range is not great, but at least they don't pop out when you move them. Unlike the SH Monster Arts version, the wings aren't just two big pieces of plastic. Instead, they're split in two, with the top part further split in four, and this allows the figure to be even more poseable. The lower part of the wings are on ball joints, and they do have a nice range of movement, while the top part has sort of a butterfly joint to connect to the torso. There are ball joints on each of the pieces of the wing, and they plug to each other when you just want to have Ghidorah with extended wings. Top and bottom part of the wings also plug to each other. But the entire point of having this much articulation in the wings is to pose the figure in crawling mode. To do this, you separate each part of the wings carefully. You don't want to break the claws. Then you work each part by the ball joint, rotating them slowly while pushing it inwards and below the next piece. You might want to hit the joints with a hairdryer or pour hot water on them like I did. Once these three pieces are folded, you can rotate both parts of the wings, rotate the thighs, bend the torso towards the back, and you're done. King Ghidorah is now in a crawling pose. This is great engineering, and it greatly improves the posing options of this figure. You just need to be careful when working through the joints, but as you can see, he looks so good. Stand is not even needed if you pose it right, but if you're going to leave it like this for a while, you might still want to use the stand. Now that we've seen all the great features of this figure, let's do some size comparisons. Here we have King Ghidorah next to Hiya Toys Godzilla from Godzilla King of the Monsters. They do scale really nice to each other, but I feel Ghidorah is a tad big, but the scale between them seemed to change in the movie too from scene to scene. At least, I don't feel Ghidorah is way too big, like I did with the SH Monster Arts version of these two. Now, we have Ghidorah next to the other two kaiju from this movie, Rodan and Mothra. They do look good together. And now for the entire cast of Toho Kaiju from this movie. Here we have two figures from another kaiju movie, NECA's Striker Eureka and Leatherback, both from Pacific Rim. Here he is with another big monster figure, SH Monster Arts Biollante from Godzilla vs. Biollante. Here we have two SH Monster Arts Godzilla figures, Godzilla from GMK and Shin Godzilla. And finally, here we have Medicom Mafex EVA Unit 1 from Rebuild of Evangelion, and Figma Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2. Hiya Toys has done an amazing job capturing King Ghidorah design and delivering a great looking figure, with great sculpt and paint all the way through, and some nice articulation for some great poses. I only wish the necks had way more range, but I can overlook that because of the articulated wings. Next, Hiya Toys is also releasing a new version of this figure with a different, brighter paint scheme, and they're also including lighting effect parts, which will make for an even more impressive display. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please hit like and subscribe to the channel below. Let me know in the comments if you have or are you planning to buy this figure. And if you have the SH Monster Arts version, which is your favorite? And also, let me know if you want me to review any of the figures I've shown you in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.